Here is Kirito. I am so excited because I love Sword Art Online and I'm quite happy that I was able to get him at Expo. So let's have a look at the figure. We can see here that his hair is textured, as well as we can see his eyes, which are kind of a nice blue, and as well as the eyebrows. His mouth is kind of, I don't know why they've not done a full line on his mouth, but it looks kind of cool. We can see that his jacket here is completely different. This is kind of a bendy plastic rather than a hard plastic, which brings it out amazing. His jacket's actually quite cool, and I'll explain why in a minute. You can see that his arms come up here, and as we notice that with the white lines or the grey lines going across the black, you can see that they link up here with his kind of armor placement with 3 dots. His other arm comes up and it doesn't have lines. Oh, it does. It has a small line just there which links in, and obviously his armbands. We can tell his arm bends up just like that. Like that. He's a yeah, and his hand twists around slightly. So we twist it. It can go. It can move that way rather than twisting. And again, with his other arm here, it can do the same. Moving down his jacket here, we see that he has his 3 stars which connect all 3 belts, which is cool in the game, and then his black t-shirt. The lines run slightly down here, and his pocket, and all runs through there, and it's actually quite nice. Again, it's quite flexible. It doesn't come off because obviously the belt keeps it attached there, but that's literally his torso. Here we can see his belt, again has 4 dots, and also runs through his trousers, which is detailed quite well. As we're looking at his trousers, we can tell here that there is quite a lot of detail like on the crease lines, because obviously when you move his legs in a minute, you can see that they'll kind of crease. So they've put in that effect. Again here, as we turn down, the lines keep going all the way down his jacket on both sides. And obviously if he wanted to bring his jacket together, he could do. So we can tell this is still a soft plastic, and here is the kind of cool part in a minute. I'm really excited actually. It's unique, it's cool, I like it. Here we go. Again, we have more detail on his kind of cuffs for his boots. As we move it around, we can see that even on the bottom of his shoe, I don't know if you guys can see it, if there's enough light, let's bring it. There we go. We can tell that there's more detail, and that's fine. They've even gone down to the buckle, as well as the 3 dots on his shoe, which I didn't even realize he had in the anime. Again, with the cuff, it brings it all around, and it's 3 dots there. And again, here you can see that there's more dots just there as well. On the back of his head here, you see that there are still hair strands, and they just come out that way. They've put a lot of detail and a lot of time into actually getting his hair just right. On the back here, we have the lines that go around his collar, and again here where his swords will appear in a little attachment, and again the lines go up and down his back. When we bring up the contour that way, you can see that it all matches in just here, and then it all goes down the arm of his body. As we said before, there's the hole where the swords go. Here is the hole where the stand goes in. I would recommend putting the stand in at times, because he is very kind of difficult to kind of keep up at times, to keep him standing up on his own. You have the lines going around the back of his coat, and again you can see that the armbands, or the line goes all the way down on both sides of his arms. This is what I wanted to show you. This is what I think is really cool. So if we move his arms up like that, it's this. You can actually pose this, and I kind of think that if they did a Seto Kaiba figure, that this would be the same. So we can move this up and down here, and you can just basically, if you want to pose him in a jump stance and you wanted to get some air and it looked authentic, you can do. I think that's really awesome and a very nice touch to the figure. Now we've already covered the back of the boots. As we can tell from here, they have the grey lines of like kind of new rocks, and underneath it it's just kind of flat, which I thought they would have put a little bit of texture in, but no, we can tell you've got the belt buckles again, as well as the kind of like attachments to keep them on to look very game-like. Kirito is very kind of flexible and bendy, as we can tell from the legs here that it's all black, and his knee joints move like so. Again, just testing it so you can actually have him in any kind of pose you want. His arms move up and down, and again they kind of bend. So he is a great addition to it. So again, just simple like that. So it's, when you get any figure, they are quite stiff to begin with, but they will loosen up in time. Just like all the others, we get the two different heads. So as we take off his hair like standard, which is a cool thing to do, just taking his hair off. It looks really weird. Same, all the others look, they all look really weird without their face. So we're looking at his kind of sad, like, oh no, type face. And place his hair back. Like so we can see that he's like, oh no, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, Asuna. And then again, we take his face off again. We put his angry face on. He's like, I will come for you, Asuna. I will come for you. Ah! Feels like, there we go. Ah! So you can tell that it just gives different elements to actually playing with it and creating the scene that you want to have with the figure. Kirito comes with a load of different accessories. We have the special effects that go onto the swords. We have the standard hands that I have, so you can do different poses and hold different things. Again, you've got the two different faces. There's two actual blades and holsters in it. And then again, you've got here to go into the back of him to actually hold two swords if you wanted him to. Now, one thing I've noticed, I will tell you guys, is Kirito's blades are very kind of delicate. This one is quite easy because it just pulls off and you can put the handle straight into his hand, which is easy enough to take in or out. Although with his kind of his crystal sword, this is where it can get a little bit kind of tricky. I had to bend his fingers back to some degree for the sword to go straight into his hand. At some point, this did go left or right, and it felt that if I kept on forcing it or even trying to place it into his hand, it would snap off, and I didn't like that. I really wish they did it the same as that. It's just pop it open, pop it closed. It makes things a lot easier. Now I'm gonna have to keep this hand attached to it because I feel that if I take it out, I won't be able to get it back into his hand again. Now I wanted to show you guys the special effect that came with it, which is, I think, looks a little bit like cheese for some strange reason. Now I won't be showing what it can do, but when it's attached, it feels like the blade can't support it, and it feels like it's just going to drop off or snap off. Now, if you have anything to kind of hold it like another stand, by all means attach it, but I would just be very wary when it comes to that. Now, I love this sort of effect. It looks like but I've seen the only other effect was with The Legend of Zelda with Link, but it just looks like when you hold it, it feels like it's going to snap off at any point. So I don't know why they made the kind of the sword quite thin, but you can have it like a slash effect, like going down, but it does feel like it will snap off that way. So I thought I'd let you know about that one. That's the second thing I found about the figure that I'm not a hugely big fan of. So there we go, Rangers. There is Kirito. He is an awesome figure. The only thing that I had a problem with was his green sword being not like his actual main sword, where the green sword could easily snap off, and I didn't like that part. Also with the special effects, that they are too heavy for the figure, and that kind of put it off because it does look like a cool swipe. And again, it looks like cheese to me. I don't know why. Anyway, Rangers, there we go. So your question of the day is, what do you think about this figure? Do you like it? Do you hate it? And also, do you watch Sword Art Online? Let me know down below in the comments. And if you've liked this video, like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. Check out Yada Games and all that lovely goodness. And as always, Rangers, thanks for watching, and I will see you in a bit.